In the hospital notes from the night I almost died, there is a number circled in red. A doctor I've never met circled it. The number is the count of one specific type of cell in my blood, and it tells the whole story of what was happening to me in a single digit. Today I want to tell you about that cell, about all 5 types of cell. Actually, because they tell 5 different stories. And by the end of this video, I hope you will know how to read your own immune system on paper better than most people who have ever held a blood test result. I'm Gary, and this is the 2.6% Mind. Welcome back to Know Your Blood. Last week, we walked through the full blood count, the FBC, the most ordered test in the world. We covered 8 numbers briefly, and I promised that I would come back this week and we would go deeper into one of them, the white blood cell count. Because here is the truth. When a doctor is trying to work out whether you have a serious bacterial infection, sepsis, pneumonia, meningitis, the white cell count is the one of the first numbers they look at. And the differential, the breakdown of what kind of white cell, is what tells them what is actually happening inside of you. If your GP only orders a blood test and the labs usually run differentials automatically, it's part of a standard FBC. But most patients are never told what was on it. Today, I hope to let you know. There are 5 types, and these are your immune army. White cells are not one thing. They are 5 types, 5 different cell types with 5 different jobs. Together, they are what we call your immune system. On a blood test result, they appear under the heading of differential or WBC diff. There are 5 of them, and I want you to remember the order I'm about to give you, because it's the order that they appear on most lab reports. Number 1 is neutrophils. These are the frontline soldiers, the biggest population of your white blood cells, usually around 40 to 70% of the total. When a bacterial infection enters your body, neutrophils are the first cells to arrive. They run towards the fire. Normally, the range is roughly 2 to 7,500 per microliter. In serious bacterial infection, neutrophils can climb above 12,000. Doctors call this neutrophilia, and it's one of the most reliable signs that your body is fighting a bacterial invader. And this is the part most people don't know, neutrophils can also drop dangerously low in severe sepsis. The body uses them up faster than the bone marrow can produce them. A neutrophil count below 1.5 thousand is called neutropenia, and it's a context of suspected infection. It's just as urgent as a higher count. High or low, both directions really matter. Number 2 is lymphocytes. These are your specialist troops, the cells that fight virus and remember every infection that you've had. The normal range is roughly 1 to 4,000. And when your lymphocytes go up, the picture usually leans to viral infection, maybe flu, glandular fever, COVID. When they drop sharply during a serious illness, that is also a warning sign, because in severe sepsis, lymphocyte counts often crash. And a low lymphocyte count is now considered an independent predictor of death in sepsis patients. And that is from a 2019 study published in the Journal of Critical Care. So here is a rule of thumb. Neutrophils high and lymphocytes normal, picture generally leans to bacterial. Lymphocytes high and neutrophils normal, the picture leans towards viral. Both low and your immune system is in trouble. It's not a perfect rule, but it is a real rule. The third one is monocytes, and these are the cleanup crew, slower than neutrophils. They arrive in a few days into the infection, and they do the long dirty work of clearing dead cells and debris. Normally they range roughly between 0.2 to 0.8 thousand, and when monocytes go up, it usually means you've had an infection going on for a while. Chronic infections, recovery from a bacterial infection, sometimes tuberculosis or autoimmune conditions. If you ever see your monocytes elevated, you don't know why, this is a question worth asking. It can be the only number on the page that says something has been quietly happening in this body for a long time, but now you realize. Number 4, eosinophils. These are the allergy and parasite cells. Normally range is small, usually between under 1,000. They are tiny percentage of the white cells in normal life. Elevated eosinophils suggest one of 3 things: allergic reaction, including drug allergies and asthma, parasitic infection, which we don't often see in the UK or France or Europe, but they do exist, or in rare cases, certain blood disorders. If you have an unexpected itching, breathing trouble, or rashes, and your eosinophils are high, there is a story being told that should not be ignored. Number 5 is basophils. The smallest population, less than 1% of your white cells normally. They are involved in inflammation and severe allergic reactions, anaphylaxis, for example. Honestly, basophils are the cells most patients can largely ignore. But if they are persistently elevated, that can occasionally be a sign of a blood disorder. And that is something that a hematologist would investigate. It's a quiet number that occasionally shouts. I want to tell you what these numbers actually look like for me. By the time someone had finally ordered a full blood count on me, I was already in septic shock. My neutrophils were not just high, they were dramatically high, and what doctors called left shifted, which means the bone marrow was throwing immature neutrophils into the bloodstream because the mature ones were already being consumed. That phrase, left shifted, is one of the things that should have been spotted earlier. My lymphocytes had crashed. My platelet count, which we covered last week, had collapsed. The picture on that blood test was a body losing the fight in real time. 34 hours earlier, when I was sitting in front of my GP, the picture would have been completely different. Not catastrophic yet, but already wrong. Already telling the numbers were there to be read. Nobody read them because he didn't order a blood test. That is the heart of why I'm doing this, to try and help people and try and give you some more knowledge about what exists and what you can learn. And the technology was 40 years old. The lab was 5 minutes walk from my GP surgery, and none of it cost anything. None of it happened. So here's what I want you to take from this episode. If you've ever had a full blood count, you have had a differential. The numbers exist on a piece of paper somewhere. In your GP's office, in a hospital file. You're entitled to see them. In the UK, under GDPR. In France, you're allowed to have your medical dossier. In the US, under HIPAA. And if you're unwell now, if you've had an infection, a fever, a sense that something is wrong, and your doctor orders a blood test, ask one question. Ask them what your neutrophils are doing. High, low, normal? Just that. This is the 1-sentence question. It signals to the doctor that you understand the test, and it changes the conversation. It might one day be the question that catches what otherwise would have been missed. Every episode of Know Your Blood aims the same way, with one question, a single sentence that you can write down and take to your next doctor's appointment. This week's question to the doctor is, could I see the differential on my last full blood count? And can you walk me through the value that is outside the normal range? Write it down, save it, use it. The phrase walk me through is the one that turns a yes or no answer into a conversation. And this is where the medicine actually happens. Next Sunday, in episode 3, we're going to look at the second test that should have been ordered on me and almost never is. It's called CRP, C-reactive protein, the inflammation markers. Yet again, it's another cheap, fast infection test, and one that would, in a properly functioning system, would have caught my sepsis before. Subscribe so you don't miss anything. And if this episode has helped you understand something you didn't understand before, share it with someone you love. This is how this channel grows and how I hope to get a message across to more people. Thank you for watching, and I'm Gary, and this is the 2.6% Mind, and I hope to see you next Sunday.